Hello and welcome to this Babel grocery event. My name is Tom Bungard and I am the Chief Analyst at Mintec. Today I would like to demonstrate how the grocery sector uses commodity price intelligence and actual price forecasts, and how these tools and data improve their ability to manage the current and growing risks caused by price inflation. But first, who are Mintec? Well, for over 35 years, Mintec has worked with some of the world's largest food and beverage brands, helping them to implement more efficient and sustainable procurement and buying strategies. We do this by empowering our customers to understand their supplier prices better and by analyzing their spending to ensure they can control costs more effectively. Mintec is the largest IOSCO assured price reporting agency for the food and beverage industry, publishing prices for over 15,000 commodities across 18 categories. We also publish over 60 price forecasts combined with hedging recommendations that help companies manage their exposure to price risks. Along with access to data and analysis, Mintec Analytics provide a range of tools to enable buying teams to visualize, integrate, analyze, and predict how price changes affect their business. These tools include price change reports that enable teams to organize and visualize how commodity prices are changing, as well as cost models to track the impact of these changing prices on specific products. Each cost model is fully customizable to reflect individual product specifications. Finally, Mintec publishes actual price forecast for critical raw materials, including food ingredients and non-food materials like packaging, metals, and energy. These forecasts help buying teams to develop hedging strategies to reduce their exposure to price risk. Today, I'd like to demonstrate some of these tools and at the same time provide you with a market update and price forecast for some of the commodities I've selected. I'm using the current price forecast and hedging recommendation for several essential raw materials used in many of your grocery products, and which will be important for the buyers, sourcing, and category managers in your business. I'm going to be using the Mintec Analytics platform to look at the price forecast for milk powder or WPMP, palm oil, wheat, Europe, and potatoes. So let's get started. So if we go to the first commodity, it's whole milk powder. You'll be able to see at any place, if I go anywhere, you can click on this button up here, back to overview. So this is a new feature. So if you're deep inside looking at all kinds of things, you can just click on this button up here and you'll go straight to the front page here. So it's an easy way to get back to the front page. So that's a tweak. Another tweak could be like if you look at this hedging recommendation, you can pin to dashboard. So if you have a dashboard with, let's say, whole milk powder, you have the graph, you have the forecast, you have, a few fundamental graphs, you can just click here and pin that to the dashboard, and then you get that as well. So that is quite useful. You can also pin the trend to the dashboard. So there's a number of things that are improving, and I don't want to go through all of them, but I just wanted to highlight those three. What we're doing is it's still a green arrow, so it's still a downtrend, but we're actually changing it to it was from plan a hedge, and now it's partial initiate. So what is happening is that we think that this target 6 decline is over. So it went down precisely as it was supposed to do, but as you can see, it went a little bit lower than expected. We think that decline is over. And so we are on the early path toward target 7. And that's the reason we're saying partial initiate. However, there's two things. First of all, we can't show target 6 as done. If a target is done, it's a very small 5 like this one. So it's still in operation. Target 6 is in operation. We need to see prices breaking above that moving average here, like that. So that's when we can tell you that target 6 is done. But just like if you have this target 5 up there, when did we know that was done? So here, we knew that was done when it broke below the moving average, but it takes a little while for prices to drop and break below. So the same thing from this low, it will take a little while before it breaks above the moving average. And that will confirm that target 6 is done. But we do think it's done, and we want to protect ourselves against this target 7 increase. So there's a technical and a fundamental reason why we advise to hedge. Let's go through those just in a second here. The first reason is technical, and if you go to the short-term section down here, we have this thin moving average, or the fast moving average. A break above that is not, it's not significant that we're going to see a massive increase, but it shows that the risk is to the upside. And that break above prompted us to say, look, let's hedge a few months here. We're looking at a relatively short time. I'll get into that. But that's the first reason. We're seeing a break above the fast moving average. We don't like that. Furthermore, when does that break happen? So let me zoom into this one here. After hitting an RSI 20 low, this is where we're seeing an increase. Just like here, RSI 20 low, that's where we're seeing an increase, RSI 20 low. So you can see how obvious it is. Prices are going to go up from a fundamental point of view, of course. Sorry, from a technical point of view. But look at the price, 4,085. If we go to the fundamentals, and if you click on the regression here, you'll be able to see that prices had been in an anti-bubble, and they're in an anti-bubble. We're seeing a little bit of an increase now, but clearly this is a mistake. This is where the fair band is, and prices needs to get back to the fair band. Just like here, when prices were too low, you needed prices to get into the fair band. So it seems like quite obvious that we're going to see a relatively mild increase because we just need to get into the fair band. But that would entail like a price of 4,300 to 5,300. That's the area. It is possible, and I think that's likely, that this is a turning point. Hopefully, like this was a turning point from an uptrend to a downtrend, or like a turning point here from an uptrend to sideways. I think this could very well be the start of a decline. But that really doesn't, that has an effect later on. Right now, the price is simply too low. So we need to see an increase into the fair band. And if the fair band then continues down, then prices can then drop again. So we're seeing something that makes sense from a fundamental perspective. We need to see a price increase. And our target is a Q3 peak at 4,400, maybe 4,100 to 4,600, and that's what we want to do to get rid of by doing a hedge. As you can see, we're saying we need you to cover the rest of Q2 and July. So it's a relatively short increase. You could cover August as well, but it is riskier. So we don't really advise August, but cover May, June, and July. And that would take care of this increase here. So that's the idea. Just one thing, when we say partial initiate, every time we say partial initiate means two things. So it's good to cover that. It means not full volume, because we don't have the secure signals yet. We don't have a break above the moving average. We don't have a break above the MACD. So we can't advise full volume, but of course it's up to your risk and hedging profile. So it's not full volume, and it means it's riskier because we don't have all the signals. So let's take this as an example here. So at this point, we had a break above the moving average. At this point, we had a break above the MACD. So it comes with a delay. Today, we don't even have a break above the moving average. Still, we want to hedge, but we can't do full hedging. So we need at least a break above the moving average before we do full hedging. And then later on, the MACD will confirm. So as always, it is a little bit riskier when we don't have a break above the moving average, but we have a break above the thin moving average here. So that's whole milk powder. Let's use the new button up here, back to overview. So the next one is going to be palm oil. And as always, you're welcome to ask questions, but especially if you ask questions about the politics in oil. I mean, no one is an expert, and especially not me. We don't know what politicians will do and what Hungary is going to do. So palm oil, what we're doing is technical. This is a little bit technical. We're changing the arrow to yellow. And why are we doing that? We have to do that because prices are dropping below the moving average. That means yellow. It's no longer red. And it means that we are saying plan. It means don't do anything, but be ready. So if prices turn around, break above the moving average, then we can make one more small hedge. That's what you need to plan for. Just realizing that this target 11 is in Q2. So it's going to be an extremely short hedge. And most likely you're already covered because we've done multiple hedgings before. So you're probably covered already. So that's the primary scenario. This is a short decline, and then it will break above again and then finish this target 11, and then we'll get target 12. Suppose we're wrong. If we're wrong and we say plan, and let's say prices just go straight down to 12, well, we haven't lost anything because plan means don't do anything yet, but just be ready. So in case we're wrong and prices goes down, we'll just save money. So that's fine. But plan means that it's most likely going to see a reversal and an increase again. So we don't need to go too much into all the fundamentals here. Prices are basically more or less, fair. If you look at this, all of the fair band is going, like here is the top end of the fair price, and prices are here. They're in a little bit of a bubble, tiny bubble, which is typical we see at the end of the uptrends, small bubbles. So we can still have one more increase, and it's still within more or less reason. And then later on, it will drop again. So what we plan for is that short increase that may be coming, but this is Q2. So anything we're planning is just like we're saying here, Q2 hedge, basically covering May and June, maybe July, but not more than that. So that is palm oil. We said there's a potential for one more increase, because when you saw this decline from here down to here, we said, yeah, it's a little bit of decline, but don't expect it to continue. It will probably go up to target 12 again, and that's what it did. So we said plan, and then when it broke above that previous level, we said hedge. Prices are going a little bit high, but we're in the very late stage of this. So we said, I mean, you have to do it as partial initiate because we're so close to the potential peak. It's not full volume, and it's only covering May. and potentially part or all of June. So you can see how extremely short this is. It's not really something to be nervous about. It's just a validation that we were right in that the decline is not here to come. It's still an uptrend, and I think a June peak would be fine. Just mind you, the 410 medium target, we never specified a high target, which is my fault. We should have done that. So in the analysis, we're writing that we should have put a high target on it. And the high target is 450 to 460. That's the high target. So basically, that would involve, so this increase here, this decline, now a little bit more increase here, a little bit so here, and then at the 450 level, then it's over in June. That's my plan. The market don't care what my plans are. They can do anything else. But that's the hedge we said. Just cover that May, June, get rid of this small increase to 450, 460, and then we're going to see a decline again. So a lot of the politics we talked about for crude oil is also there for wheat. What about Ukraine wheat? Can they get out of the ports? And all of these things, we've talked about that a lot. I just want to offer like a broader picture. It is very, very common at the end of a big uptrend in the fundamentals, you typically get a bubble. Here you get a bubble. This in 2008 was also a bubble at the end of a very big uptrend. And now we have what is a normal bubble here. This is a normal bubble, just like these. This is the extra bubble caused by Russia, Ukraine. But all bubbles end the same way. Once the problem is over, you need prices to get into the fair band, which is here. Prices into the fair band, which is here. So we need prices to get back to this level. So we're going to see a massive decline. The fair band is still going up, and it's probably going to continue up. But we need prices to get into that level again. And once the Russian-Ukraine situation is solved, and when is that going to happen? But we think it's going to be here in Q2, then price is going to drop. So all hedging we're doing at these extreme levels up here, this is not the time to do extensive hedging. Like if you did extensive hedging here or here, even if you did extensive hedging here, like, yeah, you're secured, but then at some point you're going to lose. So that's the best view we can see. This is overdone. This is not rational. Prices are going to drop again. And they always revert into the gray band, which is rationality. The market will return to rational. So be careful about extending hedging too much. So the partial hedging is just very, very short term. Thank you for joining us today. Mintec provides price data and forecasts across many food ingredients, packaging, and non-food raw materials. Please get in touch if you want more information regarding specific commodities or to learn more about how Mintec Analytics can benefit your business. Thank you.